In this video, we're continuing to work on the Alta advanced oil rig, and we have some items to address, so let's get going. The first thing I wanted to show everyone is, while I wasn't making videos, I was working on the inside of this. So I went ahead and added these displays that show the drill and well depth. I put a wellhead extraction pressure instead of the amount that's in reservoir 1, and I did label all of them so you could see that that one's number 1. If we go around the back, this is number 2. Then on the front of this is number 3, and back is number 4. So we've labeled all of them. And here you still turn on all the pumps, you still do the extraction and all this stuff, so that's all here still. But now you don't get the number of what the reservoirs are here. You just know that you've reached your reservoir, meaning that it's starting to pump. All this has been remaining the same. I did paint the walls a little bit. So now we see that this is working. We're extracting the oil. If we go to this next room, I cleaned this system up. I labeled them so you have the 3 steps: choosing which reservoir to pump, selecting which type of liquid you want to pump, and starting it. So this is these the 3 and 4 reservoir on the left hand side. And then if we swivel our chair here, you see that we're filling up with crude oil in the number 1 reservoir, but we haven't enabled our distillation process. So as of now, this is still remaining 0. We'll have to see why this light is on. If we go down here, I have this dial here as well. And if we pop into this, yeah, we'll see that it's filling up now. So that's interesting to note. So this clamp system is something I want to do. And just to give a final rundown of how this works. So we're filling up with crude oil. If we turn on this, we see that our temperature starts to rise, and we hear that those are now engaged. So these are still 0, meaning there's nothing in them. But once this temperature reaches 300, it's going to start to fill with diesel and jet. Now, one other thing that I may want to put here actually, and we'll see how that works, is a door inside this big chamber. Like this will be a door, and that one will be on a door. So you can actually close it automatically, and if you don't want to produce any jet fuel, or if you don't want to produce diesel fuel, only you get to choose which of these you want to produce. There, so we've reached our distillation temperature, and now these guys are going to start to filter through in any second now. And this is reservoir 1A, 2A and 2B, because there's 2 parts to them. There we go. These are going. So we're now creating diesel and jet fuel. And now with that, if we swivel our chair back here, we could select reservoir 3, we could select diesel, and let's go. And now this is filling with diesel. This is showing that we have something in here. This is just the pressure. And if we go over to the tank, you see that this is diesel fuel now. And that'll remain until you empty this tank fully. Until this is 0, then that will reset to nothing, because then you can choose what you want to put in it again. But as long as this is here, you should keep this only diesel. And as you can see, this fluid meter that I've hidden behind the wall, it's telling us we have diesel. This one's telling us nothing because we don't have anything in it. And these ones here, I have to put as well a sensor within the wall so we can get a feeling for what's going on. Now let's turn everything off. Turn this off, reset these things, disconnect this, turn this all off, because now when we go to disconnect our structure, it's not going to lose our wellhead. So first thing I want to do is just left hand corner of this and left hand corner of this, I want to put the fluid meters just like we have in here, just so they're easy for us to see what's going on within these reservoirs. And I'll probably leave them so you guys that have watched the video, you'll know that they're there if you want to diagnose. And as well, technically we could stand up here, and I may continue this walkway, to be honest, a little higher, and then you can clear over top of this. See, this will have to actually bend down. Too bad there's no actual grading. It'd be cool to see beneath it, and I don't want to do glass like that. I guess glass would look cool, just give a feeling for it, but it's not. I mean, that kind of does look interesting if they were all yellow. That's a cool system too. Probably it would be a lot more pieces, but it'd be the best if it was this and you had them yellow and just like lined up like that. That kind of looks like grading. We don't need this. Just don't know how that works for the lagginess of the game, and I'm sure just the big pieces are even enough. But now if we want to walk over to this, we can here, and same with this direction if you want to walk over to that, so we can actually put this sort of catwalk over to here. See, like down here we just used regular pieces, so I mean I do like how that looks, to be honest, but just for consistency we're going to keep the yellow just solid piece. And because we're not using that, we can turn that off and just have this piece go right into there. So you've climbed up successfully, and then you could walk to the back of this like that. We could put little legs to be structurally supported on this, because I am a structural engineer, so it's not very realistic if these things are just floating in midair. Probably just put one in the middle there. There. So now our little catwalk is supported, and to fully finish it off, we do in fact need the railing on the side. I feel like if we do a system like this, and also this thing, we could move around to put it here. Anyway, back to this thing. What I would like to do now is add a few other things, namely the safety cutoff switch. So that's one thing I want to do, and I want to take a look at that connection or whatever, the system that uses the system that is used to pick up the pieces that have fallen on the ground. So that's this one here that I said. So let's hop on over to that. This is something I can do later, but just wanted to give a little show of what is to come. See, especially if we put our corner piece here. You really don't want to fall off this type of catwalk. So ideally you're walking safely through it, but what's important is to be safe. So that's key. And what I'm going to put here is a little right here. we're going to put that same thing, the filter, so anybody can climb up and get a feeling for what is going on in here. And in addition to that, probably a little viewing port like I have for this thing. We could put a little viewing port here so we see what's actually going on in this chamber, and likewise down here we can put a viewing port if you're on the ground level to see if it's full or filling up. Just make sure the window glass is on the outside like that, and same thing up there. Nope, window glass in the wrong direction, so we'll just flip it up. There we go. And the main one here, we can add a viewing port as well right here. So just a bunch of little viewing ports for you guys to see what's going on. I know this one's kind of blocked, it's not ideal, but that's fine. It's the heater, you could still kind of see inside, and probably here as long as they're at the same height. So just one off this, and right here you can peek inside. I mean, there's nothing much to see. It's not very pretty. It's not like I didn't bother modeling it, but you'll see that there's physically fluid inside. Okay. We gotta find out why this light is always on. So this light is on when, oh, that's definitely wrong. I just want it on when this is on. I mean, it's counterproductive because you're turning this on physically, but that's fine. I do want that on. And then this is good. That means the distillation's happening. Our crude, our main line pressure, I know it went from like weird, it was like 900 to like something, or negative 900, sorry. And same here, we'll just do negative 100 to 10. And likewise, this pressure line was, I believe, like 10 and negative 100. Okay, that'll work for that. We were able to pump things to this. I do want to have this button read a little different. So pumping system to storage reservoir. I'm just going to write this probably, let's see, this one just goes into the on switch, and it's just a simple toggle button. I'd rather use a key. The reason I'd rather use a key is because that's the actual activation of the system. So I do want it to be very obvious that you've activated the system. So I'm going to write activate fluid transfer system, because it's transferring. Pumping system active, okay. And this will go into the on switch, and obviously we need electricity. Okay, cool. So that's there. The rest of it's fine. The doors, let's see. So I wonder if we can do that. Like, I mean, reasonably, I'm thinking sure we can, but in practicality, okay, so it'll pretty much just be a door that's right there, or rather right there, and when it opens, it'll enable fluid to flow into this distillation port. And same thing up here. We're just going to chop off this and this and this and place the door here. We're going to have to do some repainting on the outside wall, but that's fine. And just in here, it's this, so we're not losing fluid anywhere. Paint this all yellow or orange. Oops, there we go. And likewise down here. These doors we're going to put on the same system as the distillation process, and we're going to add keys here, and we're going to write what the keys are for, which is to enable the different types of the pumping. This is the one that was missing, and this will turn these ones. No, we need electric. Okay, so this first one is diesel, So enable diesel distillation. Now maybe you only want to produce diesel, so in that case you just leave this and don't even bother converting your crude to anything else. Or if you only want jet fuel, you can only turn that one on. So diesel is the bottom one that we're going to put here, and jet fuel is the top one. I'm not sure if the crude will flow through that, but I imagine it would. I was debating putting a door, honestly, in these other two vessels, like here, to have the same fluid in both. But if you really want the same one, you could easily just pump both of them full of diesel or whatever. Okay, that is good actually. I did like that application. Now, the next step we have is this clamp system. So, just before trying the clamp system, I do want to make sure that this is actually working, and that when we have our, like say we only want to make diesel, and we go in through here, that diesel port should have opened. Perfect. But yet the other one is still closed up here. And we'll turn this on. So we're pumping things in. I don't know where it went. How strange. Oh, it's still trying to pump it out. It's not quite pumping just yet. There we go. Now it's pumping. It's not instantaneous. Presumably it has to make its way up the rods, and now it's finally pumping. And now we're just heating this up. So we've already reached our temperature, so now it should start to distill into diesel only and not jet fuel. And then if we open this one up, we could start getting jet fuel as well. Because now if we go down to this little sensor we put, we can see there's diesel, jet, and oil in here. But it's still not pumping into diesel. Let's see. It may need some time to rise or whatever, the way the game works. But it shouldn't, it should work, but maybe it won't. Maybe it needs to be directly in that chamber. So maybe we can't do this, because by now it would have been filling into this. So we've converted everything into diesel and jet. But if we go in here, I mean, first of all, the water, the level of it is not shown as such, but it's not actually, so there's no oil. And also I'm wrong when I call it crude. It's not actually crude. I may as well delete it, because there is not, it's not crude oil for some reason. Like if I can't try to pump it. It says oil. Anyway, let's see what happens here. So these aren't working. Okay, we learned. So this door thing does not work. We can't actually open and close the different areas, which to me sounds like a glitch. Like we should be able to turn on and access the different types. So if the developers are watching, then you guys are free to try to fix that. Because with the chamber now is one solid chamber, so that is quite clear. But when you have the door, if it was a fluid like you guys normally have, they would flow through there. But now in this case it's not working, so I think we found a glitch. Not a big glitch, not nonetheless, but still. Okay, so we have to make both, or otherwise we just, it seems we have to collect them into the first chambers, and then we'll see. Obviously I could have this be so small right here, like just a tiny little thing, and you produce some and then you pump out the rest or whatever, but that is fine. So this is all pretty straightforward then, and that's straightforward. Now it's so weird that the fluid, or rather this, I guess they depreciated it, but it was called crude oil. However, when I try to pump, well, no, so this is crude oil that we're putting into this, or we're trying to pump out. But whatever we're putting into this thing at first is just called oil. However, when I try to extract just pure oil using this crude oil filter, it's not working. So maybe it's because it's depreciated. And so what I think we could do, let's try actually this. So in this instance, everything's 0. And if we pump things in, let's do a little test. So extract it, and we're not going to heat anything. So we're going to leave it 100% just oil once it starts coming in here. And I'm going to see if I can move it using that, meaning the depreciated filter. Also, let's see my catwalk. Yeah. Where's that thing? There it is. And this is definitely, you definitely need some kind of railings here. It's not quite OSHA approved, I wouldn't say. And then this as well. Oh, you fall backwards down it, but alas, safe enough. Safe enough, if not, you have medical bay. Okay, we've pumped in a bunch of the oil. Now let's try to take from the reservoir and pump just crude. Oh, it's working. Okay, so the reason it wasn't working earlier, so it is all crude oil. It's just called oil and thing. The reason it wasn't working for me earlier was probably because I heated it up so much that within here there wasn't actually oil, but rather it was just the jet and the jet and diesel fuel, and there was 0 oil, so 0 to be pumped out. But that's good. So our system works, and that's all happy. This thing is what I need to do now, as well as the cutoffs. But let's start with this. So the way this works, or the way it's supposed to work, is if you drop a pipe or rod, or if you bring one up from a truck, and say you just drag it up with your guys, you just bring it up here, put it here, you could then clamp it onto this, and then use this system to bring it into this rod rack. Okay, that makes sense. So there's really only 2 things. We need a toggle button and the rotate button, like our current rotation and our slider velocity. So there's a couple things here. So I think the best thing would be to put a button and an instrument panel, because that way we can have everything we need. And we'll put our instrument panel in that direction, and we'll take our instrument panel buttons, our instrument panel with buttons, and just connect that to here. And then we now run into problems because we need to plug in slider velocity and the rotation. So what I always do then is just actually there's 2 ways to go about. There's one that's a little cheesier, but seems to work. So let's see this thing here. We're just gonna copy and paste that twice down here and just locate it in. Okay, so the far left one will be the velocity, and the right one will be the rotation. And now if we go here, we see that this one here will rotate that, because we don't want to use negative numbers. We want to stay positive, folks. So there. There's no need for it to go in the negative direction, only the positive when we're trying to put it in. So that is okay with us. And then the button here will be for the actual clamp. So we're going to call this the clamp. And this system will be like rod retrieval. Retrieval. Rod retrieval clamp, and this will now do whatever we want it to do, which is to move the slider, which is going to be our top buttons. So number 1 and 2, slider left, or I mean, once it's lifted, it won't no longer be slider left and slider right, but slider right slash up, slider left slash down, because once it's lifted, that'll be what it is. And these are just going to be buttons with the arrow buttons to the left and to the right, and they'll be push, channel 1 and 2. Okay, and then repeat it for the bottom 2, so arrow buttons, or maybe they could be arrow buttons but in the other direction. So in this case it'll be down, because this is going to be to bring this assembly down, and back up. And let's put the 3 and 4. Okay, so 1 is to go left, aka positive, on the velocities. Now the only thing I'm not a big fan of is you'll never know that you've hit 0 when you have this kind of button. Like, you don't know. Actually no, you do, because once you've let go of it, it stops, because it's not a throttle, it's a push. No, that still doesn't make sense, because the way this thing works, so we could only do this actually for the rotation targets. So in this case, up is positive, and we're trying to, so up is negative, which is our button 4, and our button 3 is the downwards one. So we'll put down here, and we'll double check that it works. But what we can't do is use the throttle for the speed. Okay, so we're going to delete it, it's useless to us, and we're going to plug it directly into our microcontroller. Now this is easy stuff for most people, so it's not a big a deal, but what I'm going to do is still show what I'm doing, just so people can see. So our channels 1 and 2 we're no longer using. Instead we're going to put the number input, or number output, sorry, and really just a simple button. So once you press 1 or 2, it just throws on a switch box that goes to this. So not anything crazy, guys, and it's just addition to here. So when you press 1, it goes here, when you press 2, it goes here, and it'll just activate either +1 or -1. And maybe that's too fast, maybe we want 0.5, and only on the on value. So channel 1 is our positive, which we just have to confirm that that's the case. So here we go. So when you press channel 1, which is left, we're moving in the positive. So that seems to be working. Let's throw electric here, rod positioning. We're going to put it part of that system. And let's spin it out, take it for a spin. First things first, whoops. All right. It's not working for some reason. Electric is on, but this is not. Alright. What a silly problem to have. I must have not connected something. Which happens. Too much talking and too little working and all that good stuff, so. Okay, that's there. This is going here, and that's going back to the rotation hinge. Then this thing here is activated by the sensitivity. Start value is 0.5. That was probably my first mistake. That was my I just copied this one. Okay. Start value 0. Max 1. This 50. We'll put it to 100. Max is 1. Start is 0. Min is 0. And this thing needs power. That was why. So this needs power. And it's going to get the same power as that. We did hear that the thing was moving, so in this case, we bring it. Okay, so the buttons are inverted. We need this to be down and this to be up. And then this is now true when we clamp it, and this is moving, and this is moving. Perfect. So other than flipping that, let's see if the system in general works. So let's say we've dropped one or picked one up from a truck or whatever the case may be. Like, let's knock it over. There we go. Perfect. So it's fallen. We then enable this clamp. I'm just going to demonstrate how this system works. And first, let's turn on the spotlight so we see more, and let's position this so it's aligned with the retrieval system, more or less. Okay, so the clamp is on, our spotlights are on, and we can now pick this one up. And it takes a little bit of finesse. It's not a perfect system, but at least it gives you a means to retrieve rods that have dropped, or if you bring new ones with a truck or something. It takes a little bit of finesse, I will admit, but it does work. I have verified that. Whoops. Let's see from this end. Pick it up and put it in here. I guess it's easier to start with the closer end and then just pick this up. There we go. It's clamped in. And now we just have to move the rod further out. Like that. All the way. Originally, I was planning on making a system that worked like automatically and all this good stuff, but because of my building space, I don't actually have that kind of real estate. Okay, now that's in. And quite simply, you could take the wall. Our wall was a little, there we go, and move the wall out. And then once we get down there, like I actually purposely make this creation need some kind of involvement. There we go, and then just lift this up. Oh, no, 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 no. That was not a good demonstration, folks. There. I just went ahead and did it. So the trick is, if you're putting the clamp or using this retrieval system, you want the wall back, not forward. We had it so it was perfectly aligned. You actually want it back, and you want to turn the clamp off, pick it up, and just walk it into that clamp system. So a little more work and not as intricate or not as perfect to kind of work with, but it gets the job done. So that's the key here. And now this thing as well, we just have to swap 3 with 4, otherwise we're okay. And I'll slow down the speed of this. There's no need for it to go that fast. So yeah, this retrieval system works. Not perfect, but at least it gives someone an option if they need more of the rods, or are using a truck or a forklift or something. They could come and bring it over and still use it instead of being just stuck with the 10 that are on the wall. Perfect. Okay, And it kind of hits the building if you have it out all the way, but for the most part I found it does work. Let's just paint that. And we need a safety cutoff. Now the safety cutoff will work when, and I'll actually, before the safety cutoff, we have the camera system activates this monitor, but there's no need, like I was noticing there's a bit of lag. There's no need to just have it running all the time. If you want to, if you're not in the room, if no one's in the room, and I do this on my ships as well, just because it's way more efficient this way and way more user friendly. If you have an and, so this monitor will be on if your key is turned and if someone's in the room. If no one's in the room, even if your key's turned, that monitor will turn off. There's no need for it to just stay on. It's not helping anything. Okay. Safety cutoff. So the way I want to have this explain the safety cutoff is in real life, you have kind of buttons everywhere, and if you press it, it starts an alarm and everything shuts off and a bunch of lights go on and go blaring and saves lives. Like it'd be in a case that like someone's walking where it's like super risky and something kind of goes down, they'll like if they get caught in a conveyor, or if notice something about to happen, something about to break, you press this button and the whole system stops. So what we're going to need to stop, if we go to this control station, this first one, there's nothing to stop here. This one, I turned off the they're all push, so really there's not like a process that you could stop, but you could just you could unhook, for example, the rod, or you could send the thing back up, like you could send this one up on its way. The easiest thing probably would be just to turn off electrical to it. Like this breaker will actually will lose power, so everything will lose power, and I think that's the way we're going to do it, just because it'll be the easiest, and then just everything will just turn off and the alarm will go on. So in that case, it's a relay. My apologies, pardon me, not a breaker, a relay. So we're going to put a relay down here, and the way it's on is it's activated when the alarm button is not pressed. So when the alarm button is pressed, then the relay actually trips and turns itself off. So we have a shut off of the whole system. Okay, the relay will be fed A with the battery, as I always do, and then B will be going to all of these things. So reservoir pumping system, swivel slurry pump jack system, distillation, rod clamping, I mean sure, we could just even unclamp that, rotary table, rod positioning, oh there was the rod joining clamp and rod positioning system. The positioning system doesn't really hurt anyone, but let's anyways attach it to this relay, because like I said, imagine you're about to witness someone get hit and you can stop this whole thing from moving. What we're not going to touch with our relay is the lighting and critical systems and the facility electrical. So those are two things that our cutoff will not touch, because we don't want to interrupt lighting or critical systems. Now we're going to need to create a function or a boolean. Now is there a boolean here? No, there isn't. So we're going to have to create our own. And the reason why is because we're going to have multiple of those stations. So we're just going to start with our empty. Now it's so weird. This is another glitch that I found in the game, is when I go to like if you're watching me, for the functions that were the pre-made functions, you have to join them. Like, you can't do this, what I'm doing now. You have to instead, like, see that it doesn't work. You have to put something behind it and join it on the wall. But anyway, we have the empty. I'm just gonna not put it here yet because it depends on how many of the stations we have. But all it is gonna be is just a massive Boolean function with like multiple things. So really it's gonna be X or Y or Z or W or A or B or C or D. So any of these. So we have actually 8 of them. So we'll need a 9 function. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And only one of them is the output. The rest are inputs. Just increase the size of this. We'll call this the safety shutoff. And the way it's going to work is all of these things are here, and the single one is here, and all of these guys just connect to the Boolean, and if any of them is pressed, then we have ourselves an emergency. Now, with that comes an alarm and comes a flashing light. We could make the alarm right here as well. Well, the alarm will trigger this, but the flashing light will need to put a buzzer, or rather the what is it called function? The blinker function. And actually, I'm going to steal from my hazard lights. I do like this microcontroller. I think this is a useful one for the safety shutoff. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Open up my hazard light, or emergency light. Just take this function that I have going here. Emergency light. It's just going to cause it to sort of like flicker rather than just go on and off, on and off. It's going to flicker. Safety shut off. We'll put this here and put that to the, so we don't need this blinker, we just need this light, and this is also started when this happens. And we're going to call this our light, and we're going to call this our relay / alarm. And these are all just our inputs or our buttons. And a bunch of buttons. 8 of them or less. The thing is, they're all using an OR function. So if we don't need to, if we only have 3 of them, that's still fine. It's not gonna ruin what we're trying to do. But we gotta set now this relay. Also, what I did is I have something here that's not, like the not function, may as well be part of what I'm trying to create here, because I could reuse this whole thing. So let's have a built-in not. And then in that case, we're gonna call this one the alarm. And this one is our relay shut off, because it's working in the opposite direction, in a sense that when this is triggered, then only then is it not on the relay, and the relay is off. So we have our relay shut off. We'll put it on the relay, and the relay has all the power and all that good stuff. That's fine. Now an alarm, we're going to use our buzzer, And let's see where we could put it around here. Do we want it to be like a alarm color or just a regular old thing like this? I guess it could be a regular one. We'll put one here. Let's just start with one for now and see if our system works, and then I'll put a bunch of different buzzers throughout the whole place if this system seems to work. Now this is a critical system, so it's probably best to just leave it on the critical circuit, and then we'll pair it with the alarm function. And then we need to have a bunch of different lights that are going to be flashing, and they're going to be part of our critical system as well, and they're going to be red. I think red is like a good emergency light, or yellow, orange. I think that orange is good, but realistically red is probably the most like emergency style, and that's what we're going to put on this. And then we need to have a cutoff station. Now this is just a regular old block, so we may as well put it here, and it'll be a toggle button, and we're going to call it the emergency shutoff. Maybe not a toggle, probably a key. So you have to think about it. It's kind of like pulling a fire alarm, but we're just going to make it a very short one. So emergency cutoff, power shut off, emergency power shut off, and that should definitely be red, and this should definitely be red. And in addition to that, I feel like putting an indicator of some kind, or not an indicator, but a sign. Even a paintable indicator could be okay if it was going to be like shining, so it gets your attention, but what I would prefer is to have this one and have it like some type of emergency. So like exclamation mark, maybe 3 exclamation marks. And I have to see what they use on site. Just different sites have different things, but we're gonna copy this and paste it here. Emergency power shut off. And this is our button to activate. This is one of our buttons. Now say we could have 8 of them. This is also part of our critical system. Now if you shut off your critical system, you're pooped. But let's see if this works. Now, one thing that I just remembered, the buzzer wasn't connected properly, but the buzzer was not set to the proper channel. So we set the buzzer to probably the best one for this would be like this. This sounds like a good old, and it'll be annoying, trust me. Like, you don't want to run the construction site with that blaring. It's going to be so annoying. But let's see if it works. So it's not doing the flashing, but anyways, if we have a bunch of red lights and a bunch of these alarms, that is exactly what we need. Now the actual power cutoff portion of it is something else. So I mean the alarm is one thing, but let's say we have this drill making its way up, and now what if we do this? There we go. The whole system just dies, so it stops any electrical from happening. And I'm gonna go ahead and put those all over the place, but that was the gist of it, and it seems that I've completed my list of things. So the last little bit of the creation is just going to be kind of basic cleaning up of the structure, adding some little maybe information bulletins and stuff, but the most part is here. I might add a fire suppression system, or at least a fire hose in case there's a fire, using the water from this reservoir. and heaters in the building. I don't know if there's Arctic oil drilling right now, so but just because it's a building, I do want to have like several heaters in this building so you can stay warm if you're working under cold temperatures. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the videos and stay tuned for more.